rebirth of the park system in New York City started through a public-private partnership with the Central Park Conservancy. And then that model begat other models, the Prospect Park Alliance, the Bronx River Alliance, the Battery Conservancy, and so on. And now there's about a dozen organizations that put together raise $165 million a year in private contributions for public parks, which is great, because that's almost half of the budget that the Parks Department has for its expense budget. On top of that, so it's like adding another 50% of your budget. But I think much more important than the money that's raised, or even the volunteer hours, and it's tens of thousands of volunteer hours of people doing work in the parks, picking up leaves and painting benches. Far more important is that citizens now have a role in the life of a public park. It used to be a government monopoly, and the last time there was a pure government monopoly on parks was the mid-1970s. And the parks were in terrible shape, and the city was doing a terrible job. And I know because I was working there at the time. When you get this public-private partnerships, there are new ideas about management. They're able to hire people in different configurations, think about how you run parks differently. But much more important, political administrations come, then they go. You can have an enlightened mayor who cares about parks, like Mayor Bloomberg, and then you can have somebody who says, either doesn't care about parks or has other priorities, housing, public health, transportation. These are all dreadfully important. And you say, well, we don't have time for parks. And so it could go quickly downhill again. The difference now is you have all of these private citizens who are on boards or volunteers who are giving money, hundreds and hundreds of them, and thousands of individual donors. They're not going to let that happen now. You now have these engaged citizens who are part of the lives of all the parks. And it's parks in the Bronx, and it's parks here, and park there. And they are the conscience of the parks, and they will not allow political administrations to let the parks go downhill again. And that's the beauty of public-private partnerships.